Today we are going to talk about ratio and proportion. Suppose we got a statement like this: two men work for 4 hours. Now in this one, the number of men equals to 2 and number of hours equals to 4. So men divided by hours equals to 2 upon 4. If you cut down, it is equals to 1 upon 2. This can be written 1:2. So this way of numerical comparison of men to the hour in terms of comparative relation is nothing but called as a ratio. So there is a ratio of 1:2. That this is a colon and this colon is called as a is to. So it is a 1:2. Ratio can be defined as ratio is nothing but numerical comparison of two or more quantities. Ratio of two quantities can be written in word form, colon form such as A is to B, and fractional form such as A upon B. Here two men work for 4 hours. This is the word form of providing information regarding ratio. Another is a colon form, that is a 1:2 is a colon form, and 1:2 can also be written as 1 upon 2. 1 upon 2 nothing but fractional form. Thus the ratio can be written in the word form, in colon form, and in the fractional form. Here in the first sentence, two men work for the 4 hours. If I write the sentence like this, 4 men work for 8 hours. So from the first one, what is the ratio? The ratio is 1:2. For the first word form, the answer is 1:2. And in the second sentence, they work for the 4 men working for 8 hours. That ratio is also 1 upon 2. That means the first ratio is 1 upon 2 and second ratio is also 1 upon 2. Both the ratios are equal. When the two ratios are equal, then we say they are in proportion. Thus, we can define proportion as when two ratios are equivalent, then we say the ratios are in proportion. Thus, when we write a ratio, we in the form of A upon B, there are the two terms. This is the first term. We can also say numerator term, and this is second term. We can also say the term in denominator. The first term of the ratio is called as antecedent, and the second term of the ratio is called consequent. Thus, if you have the two numbers 10 and 20, then the ratio can be written as 10 upon 20 equals to 1:2. And the fraction A upon B is the ratio between A and B. A is called antecedent and B is called as consequent. Proportions, two types. One is direct proportion and second one inverse proportion. Example of direct proportion: if A equals to number of students and B equals to number of notebooks. As the number of students increases, the notebooks used by the student also increases. So A and B are in direct proportion, and it can be written as A is in direct proportion with B implies A upon B equals to K, where K equals to constant. Now we will consider example of inverse proportion. You see, nowadays we are using electric vehicles, electric buses, electric cars. As the electric vehicle increases, the pollution decreases. That means one increases, another decreases. This type of proportion is called inverse proportion. Suppose A equals to number of electric vehicle and B equals to pollution. Then as the number of electric vehicle increases, pollution decreases. It can be written like this, and we read it as A is inverse proportion with B implies A into B equals to K. Thus, when two numbers are in inverse proportion, their multiplication is constant. When the two numbers are in direct proportion, then their division equals to constant. That is A upon B equals to K. If A and B are in direct proportion, A into B equals to K if they are in inverse proportion. Now let us define direct and inverse proportion. Consider two numbers A and B. Their ratio can be written as A is to B or A upon B. Now A upon B equals to K, then the proportion is called as a direct proportion. And if A into B equals to K, then the proportion is called inverse proportion. Now next one is invertendo. To understand invertendo, let us consider one example. 10 divided by 20 equals to 40 divided by 80. Now 10 divided by 20, this ratio is equals to 1 by 2, and 40 divided by 80 is also equals to 1 by 2. Now what we do, we are having 10 upon 20. Now we write inverse of that one, that is 20 upon 10, and instead of writing 40 upon 80, suppose we invert it and write down 80 upon 40. Let us see what are the results. Here is the result is 2 upon 1, and here is the result is also 2 upon 1. That means if you are having two numbers A upon B equals to C upon D, if A upon B equals to C upon D, and if you invert them, that is B upon A, then B upon A must be equal to D upon C. So this way of writing proportion is nothing but called invertendo. Now definition of invertendo. If A upon B equal to C upon D, then its invertendo is given by B upon A equals to D upon C. Now Next one is componendo. Consider one example. 10 upon 20 equals to 40 upon 80. Now suppose what we do, we add denominator to the numerator. That is, here is in first ratio, denominator is 20 and numerator is 10. So we add denominator to the numerator, keep the denominator as it is, equals to 40. RHS also we are doing the same thing. 80 is added to the 40. Now what are the resulting ratios? 30 upon 20, and here is 120 upon 80. Let us see what is 30 upon 20. This and this cut down. 30 upon 20 nothing but 3 by 2, and how much? 0 0 cut down. 4 2s are 4 3s are 3 by 2, implies LHS equals to 3 by 2, RHS equals to 3 by 2. This type of proportion nothing but called as componendo. Now let us define componendo. If A upon B equal to C upon D, then its componendo is given by A plus B upon B equals to C plus D upon D. Now let's consider dividendo. Suppose I am having 30 upon 20 equals to 180 upon 20. So let us check LHS. What is the ratio of LHS? 3 by 2. And what is RHS? RHS is 180 upon 120. 62 are 63 are. So LHS and RHS are same now. So they are equal to 3 by 2 is to 3 by 2. They are in proportion. Now what we do? We subtract denominator from numerator and write down the result in the numerator. That is 30 minus 20 upon 20 equals to 180 minus 120 upon 120. So 30 minus 20 equals to 10 upon 20, and 180 minus 120 equals to 60 upon 120. Here 0 0 cut down, here 0 0 cut down. LHS equals to 1 by 2, and RHS, that is equals to 6 upon 12, that is equals to 1 by 2. RHS is also same. This type of proportion nothing but called as a dividendo. So in dividendo, A upon B equals to C upon D. Then A minus B upon B equal to C minus D upon D. This type of proportion nothing but called dividendo. Dividendo, if A upon B equal to C upon D, then its dividendo is given by A minus B upon B equal to C minus D upon D. So LHS becomes 5 upon minus 1 and RHS becomes 100 upon minus 20. Are they in proportion? Let us check. What is LHS? LHS equals to LHS equals to 5 upon minus 1 equals to minus 5. What is RHS? 100 upon minus 20, that is also equals to minus 5. So LHS minus 5, RHS minus 5. Now what you do, you cancel minus both sides, therefore 5 upon 1 equals to 5 upon 1. So we got here LHS equals to RHS. This type of proportion nothing but called componendo and dividendo. Componendo, dividendo. Now it can be written as A upon B equals to C upon D. If you follow the componendo and dividendo, then it becomes A plus B upon A minus B equals to C plus D upon C minus D. This type of proportion nothing but called componendo and dividendo. Let us now define componendo and dividendo. If A upon B equal to C upon D, then its componendo and dividendo is given by A plus B upon A minus B equals to C plus D upon C minus D. The next topic is convertendo. Example, 2 upon 3 equals to 4 upon 6. Now, if you are 2 divided by 3 minus 2. Earlier we had subtracted denominator from numerator, but here I am subtracting numerator from denominator. That is, if A upon B is there, then I perform A upon B minus A. So 3 minus 2 equals to 4 upon 6 minus 4. So it is 2 upon 1 and it is 4 upon 2. 2 ones are 2 twos are. So we get 2 equals to 2. That means if I am having a ratio A upon B equal to C upon D, if they are in proportion, then A upon B minus A equals to C upon D minus C will also be in proportion. So this type of finding proportion is nothing but called convertendo. If A upon B equals to C upon D, then convertendo is given by A upon A minus B equals to C upon C minus D. Now, theorem of equal ratio. According to this theorem, if A upon B equals to C upon D equals to K. Now select any two numbers, suppose M and N. Multiply A M and multiply C by N, and denominator multiply B by M and multiply D by N. Then result is also equals to K. This theorem is called theorem of equal ratio. Now example, 30 upon 10 equals to 45 upon 15, and the each ratio is equals to 3, therefore we are writing 3. Now select any two numbers. Suppose I select M equals to 3, M equals to let us say 2, and N equals to let us say 4. I not selected 3 because the result is 3, so it will confuse you. So I selected any number. I can select 3 also, but to make you understand, I selected the M equals to 2 and N equals to 4. Now I multiply 30 and 2 and 45 4 upon 10 multiplied by 2 and 15 is multiplied with 4. What are the result? The result is 60 plus 180 divided by 20 plus 60. This is equals to 240 divided by 80. 81 za, 83 za. The result is same. This type of ratio is nothing. This type of theorem nothing but called theorem of equal ratio. In place of m equals to 2, n equals to 4, you can select any number. If you select m equals to 10, n equals to 20, then also you will get the same answer. So this theorem is nothing but theorem of equal ratio. Now let us define theorem of equal ratio. If a upon b equals to c upon d equals to k, then am plus cn divided by bm plus dn equals to k, where m and n are any two numbers. Consider four numbers: 4, 12, 36, 108. Now find the ratio of 4:12, that is 1:3. Find the ratio of second and third, 12:36, that is also 1:3 in the simplified form. Now 36:108, that is also 1:3. So this type of proportion is nothing but called continued proportion. Thus in continued proportion, if there are many numbers are there, the ratio between the first two, then second and third, third and fourth, fourth and fifth, all remain the same. Thus the ratio between the first and second is same as the ratio between second and third. Such a proportion is called continued proportion. Now talk about duplicate ratio. If a is to b is a given ratio, then its duplicate ratio is given by a square is to b square. Example, the duplicate ratio of 3:2 is given by 3 square is to 2 square. The duplicate ratio of 3:2 is 9:4. Sub-duplicate ratio of a is to b is given by root a is to root b. Example, sub-duplicate ratio of 16:9 is nothing but root 16 is to root 9. That is, sub-duplicate ratio of 16:9 is equals to 4:3. You need to find out square root, that's all. And in case of sub-triplicate ratio, we find out cube root. That is, a sub-triplicate ratio of a is to b is cube root of a is to cube root of b. Example, sub-triplicate ratio of 27:64 is nothing but cube root of 27 is to cube root of 64. Thus, sub-triplicate ratio of 27:64 is equals to 3:4. That's all for the day. I hope the concept regarding ratio and proportion have been clear now. Even though you have more doubts regarding ratio and proportion, then you do not hesitate to contact me on my email provided in the description box. Before saying goodbye to you, remember to subscribe my channel and share it with your friends and like the video. Meet you again with another video, another time, with another topic. Till then, wish you good luck, all the best.